A discovery call usually goes better when you do a little work before you get on the call. In today's episode, I have 3 things I want to share with you about preparing for your discovery call. What you should know before the call, what you should have ready, and what things should you deliberately skip over so that you can focus on listening during the call. Let's get into it. You should start with some of the context that you probably already have, but you might not have paid attention to it. For example, how did this person find you? Did they fill out a form on your website, for example? Because if they did, maybe you have a field for how did you hear about me? Was it an event, maybe an ad, maybe on social media? There should also be a space where they can leave a message to give you some context of what they want to talk about. Don't overlook how valuable this information can be. And if you don't have those fields on your form, you should probably add them so that people can give you context before you take a call with them. If the person you're talking to was referred to you by somebody, maybe you could reach out to the person who referred you and ask them, how do you know them? What do you know about their business? Why did you think we would be a good fit? That's more information that you can gather that's already there for you. You just have to go and ask for it. And then the last thing is maybe you've talked to this person before. It might not be the first time you talk to them, but when you previously had a conversation, they weren't ready to do anything. They weren't ready to buy from you right then. So go back to your messages, go back to any notes that you have from those conversations, and that can also help you get prepared. My recommendation is to write down 2 or 3 things, like from all of this information that you already have, write down 2 or 3 things that you can ask to get clarification for or ask to get confirmation on. Things change, obviously. So if you talk to them before, things might be a little bit different in their business, but this information will give you good fodder to create 2 to 3 things that you want to bring up on the call. Once you have some of this context and any other research that you do, it's going to help you feel more comfortable to have the conversation. It'll feel less scripted with you just running through a list of questions and feel much more like a conversation, which is better for you. Make sure when you're getting ready for a discovery call, you're preparing yourself and you're not just preparing questions. Set your goals for the call. If you're newer to sales or you're just getting into sales and having these sales conversations, you might be really anxious to get somebody to buy from you, get somebody to say yes to you, ask for a proposal. But sometimes that's not really the goal. Sometimes the goal is building a relationship, having the conversation, testing out your own messaging. And so be careful of just assuming that every conversation is going to end with some kind of decision. So make sure for each discovery call, you have some goals in mind of what you want to achieve. Another thing I would ask you to think about, you need to be able to communicate what you know about your business in a very straightforward and clear way. And most people can't actually do that. So do some practicing based on what you've learned about this person, based on the preparation that you're doing, what areas of your business, what areas of your skill set might make the most sense. You won't know what's going to be the exact fit until you have the conversation, but you can at least do some scenario planning and think through what parts of your business might be the right fit for this person. That way you can practice what you're going to say about that service or about that skill, how you're going to approach it. That practice, that preparation on talking about your own business will go a long way. Having some supporting information already pulled together is another tip that I would give you. As you're thinking about your business and where you think there could be a fit, what are some examples of this type of work that you've done in the past? Or do you have testimonials from specific clients of that type of work? Just be ready in case you start to talk about a certain thing and the person on the other end of the phone is like, oh, I'd love to hear more about that. Make sure you have good examples ready or good data ready, results ready, things like that. Here's a little bonus tip for you. I was doing an RFP recently, an RFP response recently, and we were filling out the section around our experience, our team's experience. You think about your experience in terms of what you're doing now, so the company you're working for now or the team that you're on now, and you sometimes overlook all of the collective experience that each individual person has. That applies here to the discovery call as well. So I have a business right now, but I've been, a professional for over 25 years, right? And so somewhere along the line, I may have worked on an engagement or done a certain thing or demonstrated a certain skill that doesn't really apply to my business right now, but it could apply to the conversation. So don't be afraid to pull, something from your history, even though it might be older. It demonstrates that you understand what they need, that you have the ability to do certain things. Do not discount all of the different experience you have just because you haven't done it recently or just because you haven't done it in the existing business that you're in. Preparation also includes knowing what you're not going to do. So setting some boundaries. Once you've done a little bit of research, you might find that I'm thinking this person might need help with this. Make sure that that's something you're comfortable doing. Make sure that it's profitable for you to do. Be prepared to understand what you are not willing to do. That could be the type of work you're not willing to do. It could be the length of a project you're not willing to do. It could be a budget that you're not willing to work within. But just make sure that you mentally set those boundaries for yourself so as you have the conversation, that will come through naturally. The last thing I want to talk about on this episode is to make sure you leave room to be wrong. Okay, we're doing all of this research and all of this studying to get prepared for this call. Do not assume that everything that you've read online or everything that you have from past notes and speaking to the person is accurate for them today. So use that information that you find as context and background to help you shape the conversation and the things you'll talk about, but don't be rigid about it and don't feel like because I read it here, this is absolutely accurate. Use it to give you reason to ask a certain question to confirm something or refute something, but definitely don't make assumptions that everything that you found is absolutely accurate and absolutely relevant to the conversation. The goal of a discovery call is never to feel like you know everything, you're able to answer every question, you're going to ask all of the right questions. That's not what we're shooting for. Really, it's being prepared enough to have a meaningful conversation with someone without it feeling like it's scripted and without you having to constantly look over here or look over there. You want to be present in the call, you want to be present in the conversation. And then the more calls you do, the more comfortable you'll be and the less time it will take you to prepare. The more of these calls that you do, you will start to see a lot of similarities. So regardless of the type of company the person runs, regardless of the industry or their geography, you'll start to see that a lot of the challenges are similar. A lot of the solutions are similar. A lot of the pain and the fears that people have are similar when it comes to business. As you continue to prepare, as I mentioned, those early times, those early calls, it may take you a while to prepare. That will get easier and it'll start to take you less time, but you'll also start to see some patterns and commonalities. And then you can introduce in the conversation, the last couple of people I talked to have the same challenge that you're having. So don't feel like you're by yourself on this. This is a very common challenge with folks at your stage in business or whatever the case may be. That's going to make you sound more credible. It's going to make you sound more experienced just by saying that phrase. So as you do these calls, don't get overwhelmed by how much it might take, how much time it might take to prepare. That time will get less and less as you get more experience, but it'll also become more and more valuable because then it won't be just preparing for that one call. It's actually going to be about preparing you for all of your calls. So keep that in mind. As I have talked to many, many small business owners and entrepreneurs, one of the biggest things I see as a gap is the confidence to do sales. I created a sales confidence assessment to help you see where you are on that sales confidence journey. Those 6 foundations of sales confidence, I feel, can really paint a good picture for you and help you get better at selling. Remember, it's almost impossible, right, for a business to be successful if it's not generating revenue. Learning how to sell, being comfortable with selling, and being confident with sales is very important to entrepreneurs.